tech companies often face unique challenges. It's like kind of trying to build a rocket while frying it.
And scaling effectively while maintaining profitability, it's like juggling with flaming torches. Let's hear from our next panelists on how they are navigating this wild ride. We have a panel discussion on disrupting consumer tech, strategies for scaling and achieving profitability.
Let's welcome our founders with a big round of applause. First up, Siddharth Dungarwal, CEO and founder of Snitch. Even though Snitch is a men's casual wear brand, I hear women are secretly thrilled about it too. After all, who wouldn't want to see stylishly dressed men walking around? Siddharth, you're making the world a better looking place for us.
We have Abhishek Negi, co-founder of Eggoz, who has managed to make roast cow ande a mission we can all get behind. Abhishek, you have actually let my son believe that Eggoz are the real superheroes.
Please welcome Monica Bindra, founder and CEO of Laiqa. She has given women a brand that listens. Women can finally say, I'm fine, and actually mean it. So, Mr. Husbands, you have a solution now.
Next, we have Vishal Jindal, founder and CEO of Biryani by Kilo. In fact, the number of orders that IvyCap employees place with BBK, I'm sure how we should be rated as the top customers for BBK. Vishal, can we have you on the stage, please? And finally, we have Krishna Veer Singh, co-founder of Lissun.
Honestly, I think all the founders who raise VC money for the first time should be sent to Lissun for healing after a roller coaster ride they go through. And we have our one and only Mr. Ashish Wadhwani to moderate this panel for us, who is sharp with his questions as he is with his investments. Ashish, we are all ears. Take it away.
It looks like we're a bit early, so the early bird gets the worm. So, welcome. I think while we wait for the other panelists to join, I think it might be a good idea to perhaps talk about your respective businesses, which is very interesting. I mean, people ask me all the time, how do you look for opportunities? What is the next big opportunity? And if I go and tell them it's eggs, I think I'll have egg on my face, right? But here you are, Abhishek. You're building a branded eggs and egg product company, right? Eggs is, we know, very large. It's been around all the time. And we're talking of disruption. So, can you share some of your early thoughts and, in terms of how did you even come up with this idea, right? When the rest of the world is simply buying eggs from wherever they can.
So thanks Ashish for that introduction and for having me on this panel. And good morning to all of the attendees here. I think we started around 7 years back when the three of us came together and we thought that, let's do something big. And there was one common thought in our head that food and nutrition is going to be extremely important in the years to come. Why? Because the quality and the quality of food with the usage of, say, chemicals in it, in our current supply chain, and also with the pace at which demand is growing and how supply should shape up is not really in sync, even today. So with that thought, we started to think more about food, and eggs was just a common area for us. So personally, I'm a big egg eater. It's the only product I can...
Everyone is doing that, right? Everyone sees that eggs is an everyday product. And here you are willing to devote 10 years. What gave you the conviction to say, I can disrupt eggs?
Of course. So see, broader theme gave us the conviction that, we should think more about it. But when we look closely at the industry, we realized that egg consumption in India is growing really fast. Now, at that point of time, we were seeing that egg consumption was growing at around 10-11% year on year. which was the fastest among all the countries. But more importantly, for a country that was consuming more than 350 million, that is 35 crore eggs on a daily basis at that time in 2017, more than 97%, 98% of those eggs were still sold in loose format. And when we say loose and packaged, it means that eggs are not fresh in the market. It takes them 10, 12 days to reach the retail counters, so they may smell a lot. They are loose, so there's no accountability there. So they're very dirty, they're very smelly. There's a lot of salmonella bacteria on our eggs because of the supply chain issues. Second, when we look at the nutritional aspect of it, they are not nutritious at all because a lot of it is deteriorated in our kind of climate, in our kind of supply chain. And when we look at how eggs are being produced, and even though all of Indians, majority of Indians view eggs with a halo of goodness about it. You know, eggs are you can say the protein partner for the entire country. It's the most affordable and cheapest source of high bioavailable protein. But in our egg production, there is heavy usage of concentrates, chemicals, antibiotics. So these findings were just a trigger point. And at that point of time, we were also working on various agriculture projects in Bihar. And there we realized that these problems are really large and no one else is trying to solve them. So we decided that let's do it ourselves and let's try to learn this industry and let's start on this journey.
Very interesting. So basically, no matter what it looks at the superficial level, dig 2 levels down to figure out the real issues and problems and opportunity.
Yes.
Monica, let me come to you. And we're trying to warm it up so that the rest of the panel joins us. And, you know,
Sure.
perhaps, by the way, Monica is the better half of Harmeet. And Harmeet is somewhere right up there in that list. He's the founder of Lecture, which today is the 5th largest dental lab company in the world. So remarkable. And Monica, while Harmeet was doing his dental stuff, I know you were passionate about women's health and all that. Tell us about how you got the conviction to, devote your life for this venture.
Firstly, good morning, and really thanks for having me over. Am I audible?
Yeah, now you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me over. So yes, as you said, I'm very fortunate to have my husband, who has been a great, like CEO himself. And while I was always watching him, learning and knowing his passion, I could also see my passion developing into women's wellness. From my own story of various issues like period pain throughout my teenage years, difficult pregnancies, hypothyroid, joint pains, constipations, headaches, with a whole lot of hormonal issues. When I was suffering through all of this, and I was trying to figure out solutions available in the market, I realized there was a huge gap. And millions of women globally and in India suffer from these hormonal imbalances, typically like PCOS, thyroid disorders, insulin resistance. But there is still a big gap between one focused solution available. And as I got more curious to start looking for solutions, and surveyed more than 1,000 women to understand how big the problem is, everywhere there was some solution available, but nothing which was tech-driven, cohesive, and very personalized. This led me to start searching more and more and eventually give birth to Laiqa.
Yeah, I have a correction to make. I think you said you were watching Harmeet and learning from him. But I know that he was watching you in Bits Pilani and learning from you. I don't know, right? So, Vishal, welcome. I think we are sort of warming up because we are a little bit early and trying to understand the journeys that you've been through, in getting conviction on your business. Because each of you has chosen something which is very everyday and very, very basic. And I'll come to mental health, right? I mean, KV, mental health has always been a problem, is always a problem. But what made you decide that, you're going to build something here? Because everyone has been trying to deal with it, solve it for for decades and centuries, if you like.
Yeah, Ashish. First of all, a very good morning to everyone. Good to see not that much rains as in Delhi NCR. First time I'm saying that sitting in Mumbai. But yeah, mental health, right? So it's an umbrella term, and I was just checking few months back. There are some 250 odd startups just this. So when we started looking at the problem, and personally for me and my co-founder Tarun, we both had very distinct mental health episodes in our lives over a last, you can say, 5-6 years. And one thing I have learned in 3 years of my journey running a health tech company, health tech is a very felt space. I think Monica talked about her passion about it. I'm pretty sure all entrepreneurs are passionate, but health tech is a very passionate space. And if you have then that passion needs to come from if you have felt that. So obviously in the course of journey of last 3 years, talk to tons of people. And what I also resonate a lot with the people who have, who have the appreciation of mental health. So Ashish, to your question, why we chose mental health? Because it was close to our heart. When we were going through our challenges, we were not able to find, I would say, a solution which was kind of comprehensive. So that is how we started in the journey of developing a mental health solution. Obviously, the approach that we took was quite different. I think that was, you can say, our differentiating point. And I know every entrepreneur says that they are differentiated. But the thing is that if I just give very short, very quick numbers, by any estimate, 200 to 250 million Indians, and I'm talking about India only, obviously it's a worldwide problem, have mental health issues. But the critical problem is that 85%, folks, 85% of them do not access mental health because of awareness, acceptance, multiple stigma. And that is what our point of approach. Let's reach out to that missing 80%. There are tons of people who are doing for 20%. So what we did, we start integrating mental health into those use cases where you can actually reach out to those people who are going in some different care. For example, if I take Monica's case, and in our discussion, people are working on feminine issues, right? So that is where, for example, women going through PCOS, menopause, infertility, huge role of mental health, even in those conditions. So we start integrating in that direction. We picked up multiple use cases in healthcare. Then we focused a lot in education. Imagine the pressure. Quite a few of us have cleared competitive exams, and remember, at least it's 25 years for me. I don't look that old, I know. But so the pressure that were there at that time on preparing, right? So for example, Vikram introduced us in Kota. Today we are not just in Kota, Srinagar, Baramati, Kolkata, multiple places. So whole idea for us, just to summarize, is to find out the right use cases where the need of the mental health will help in your main care, in your main journey, and then you will be able to break the barriers of acceptance and awareness. If you just go as a plain that you need psychology, you need therapy, then I believe still it's a little difficult in a market like India.
Vishal, you're looking today like a food influencer than a food entrepreneur. Huh? Welcome. But so, again, food, biryani, everyone eats biryani. You have eggs and you have women's problems and mental health and now biryani. Everyone eats biryani. It's available on the roadside. So what gave you the conviction that I want to devote 10 years of my life to making biryani?
Yeah, no, I think a very apt question. Good morning, everyone. I think first of all, if you see, I think I'm just repeating what Ashish said, from eggs to mental health to women's health to biryani to Siddharth would have been hair clothes. Just testament to the fact that how different IvyCap founders are and different segments, they have picked up the right people, I think, first of all. So, why biryani? I'll just take a 30-second detour. See, I was sitting with the Biryani top team yesterday, and of course, out of more than 1,000 KFCs in India today, they celebrated 1,000 KFCs a few months back. Biryani has around 600 KFCs. So a single KFC does around 4 crores of business per year. So that means it's already a 5,000 crore brand in India. See, out of Unilever's 60,000 crore top line, probably they have one or two brands, Surf Excel, which does more than 5,000 crores. Out of Nestle's 20,000 crore, maybe one Maggie. So 5,000 crore is not an easy target in India. Food gives you that, and Devyani and we are pretty convinced there'll be, 3,000-4,000 KFCs in India in the next 5 years. And so it'll be a 15,000 crore brand or 20,000. So similarly for Biryani, it's a very big category, first of all. So I think, and the players from India, the companies like us, will be the leaders, like we can have a $1 billion top line or 2 billion or 3 billion. The journey is very long and very big. And it's a better category. But like Ashish said, there's so many people, there are thousands of biryani shops, and it's true. And similarly, there are thousands of pizza shops in US or fried chicken shops in Thailand. But to be able to do it at scale consistently and creating a brand and supply chains, everything, that requires a different kind of mindset and management. And that's what we wanted to bring. I and Kaushik Roy, we both founders of that. And we are proud to say today, with more than 100 outlets and in more than 40 cities, it's a 300 crore plus brand. And the journey is just starting because all these companies like McDonald's, KFCs, they started in US in 1960s, 70s. So it's a 30, 40-year journey. The business gets better and better as it ages. Unlike, tech where the players change every 15, 20 years, even the best of players. So that's why we picked it, and that's how we are doing it here.
So let's be honest, very quickly, when you started, out of 10 people, how many said it's a good idea? One?
All 10.
All 10?
Everybody said it's a good idea.
Maybe one is an exaggeration.
Sorry?
One is an exaggeration.
One.
Is an exaggeration.
No, I think one or two, because I think, like you said, biryani shops are everywhere. Why would, I have done my engineering from IIT, I've done my master's from US, why biryani?
No, I think the interesting question, obviously to me would be, or us as IvyCap would be, what did you see in sort of simple categories? And one of the common things I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is that all of them had a much finer understanding of the market, like Abhishek pointed out, as to where the gaps were and how. So I think they all brought that insight, which they then build on. And of course, the passion is obviously very clear to see. But let's. I think Sid is joining us, but let's get started. It's a good warm-up because we had extra time. Abhishek, how do you win customers' hearts? What is your right to win in the egg space?
That's a very, very good question. So I'll start off from where I left about what is the state of normal eggs in India, right? So when we speak about Eggoz, Eggoz is a brand which is centered around great quality products, right? Today it is.
What does quality mean to consumers?
Yeah, so for eggs, quality means fresh eggs, one day fresh eggs to market, eggs that don't smell,
How
are
do I know
thoroughly
it's
clean.
fresh? I see an egg, I'm not sure it's fresh or not.
So, there are multiple ways to control the supply chain to deliver freshness, but few of the things by which a consumer can determine whether it is fresh or not is that, when an egg is really fresh, it does not smell. It will not have that eggy stink with it. Second, when you break it open, you will find that the yolk and the albumin are very gel-like, have a very rich texture about it. When you make an omelette out of it, it will be much more fluffier. Cakes will be much more juicier. So it's those aspects, very small subjective aspects which are there. So our entire endeavor is to sell products that are really great, so that even in India we can eat eggs that are as great as the eggs which are available in Singapore, Japan, and all of these countries have the best quality eggs out there. So eggs are fresh, number one. Second, all of these eggs are produced with herbal hen feed. There is no involvement of any chemicals in the poultry feed which is given to the birds. And when we work with our poultry farmers under direct exclusive contracts, we have various measures to ensure that they are following these practices. at the end, after all of this, what the consumer gets is that, of course, no smelling eggs and great quality eggs, but they also get a very signature orange yolk. Clean eggs with an orange yolk, which is scientifically known to give them better nutrition, so that they're not only eating eggs for their regular protein, but they're also getting the necessary micronutrients like vitamin D, vitamin E, lutein, selenium, and more of that.
So are you able to, do you see that consumers are responding to this value prop? Are they, first of all, have you been able to show them that? And are they responding to that?
Yes, of course. So today, our business model is omni-channel. So through which we learn about consumer retention and consumer repeats through our trade partners only. And especially through online trade partners, we learn that every month close to 77-78% of monthly revenues are from repeat consumers. We also know that our CAC of cost of acquiring a customer is really low. It's in double digits, later double digits, and the repayment period is very, very fast for us because this is a high repeat market. And when we speak with our consumers also, consumers who have been with us for the past 3-4 years, we also learn that, many consumers were really troubled by the quality of eggs that were coming to their home. And many consumers want to feed eggs at least to their children so that the protein is available. But with Eggoz, they're able to make the shift and they're able to just be assured that the quality will always be consistent and good.
Yeah, that's, I think, a very well thought out value prop, communicated well to consumers, and if they start getting it, they are shifting. Vishal, your experience with biryani, I mean, again, how do you win the hearts of people eating biryani? I mean, it comes in the same packet, I suppose, and at home, and biryani is biryani.
Hello, yeah. So first of all, no matter whether we do it or a roadside dhaba does it, it has to be delicious first. You cannot, it has to be. See, but beyond that, it's food you're putting inside your bodies, unlike a Ola Uber, which you're just going from point A to point B. So most people instinctively know that food is health, food is well-being, food is spiritual. They know that. So what they need to... Hi, Siddharth. Hi. So what they need to know for sure is that what is the kind of rise. See, once people go above a certain income levels, they care about brands. They care about what kind of clothes they are wearing. They're aspirational. So they need to know what kind of rice we are putting. Like we put a 2 years naturally aged premium basmati from Dawat. Whether it's hygienic, whether it's consistent. The taste is consistent across Jalandhar to Guwahati to Mysore to Nagpur. So it becomes many things beyond a point for people. Of course, it will always be a fragmented market, and in food, even the leader cannot have a 70-80% kind of market share. But even with a 20-25% market share, it becomes huge. Let's say a lot of people are traveling from one city or one state to another. So once they go to the next city, they will go for a brand which they trust. So you communicate it through the kind of ingredients you're using, the kind of consistency, the branding, the aspiration, the packaging, how we give it in a handi, which I think a lot of people know. And we also dum cook in the same handi in which it is served or delivered. So people know it's untouched by hand. All the aromas or flavors are intact within that. We give an arch box. So you use a multitude of factors to differentiate your product and finally create trust and aspiration both.
Yeah, so authenticity and basically, taste and freshness. I want to touch upon another brand that you have built, or, which is basically Goila butter chicken. And it's really fascinating that in a country which eats butter chicken and known for butter chicken, there's not a single brand in the country until you decided to go after it.
Yeah, because...
What's the story with that? I mean, first of all, why was there no brand in the country? And secondly, how did you really spot that and build that?
So I think same thing, I'll go back to the US example. After Second World War, US became a strong power. All these brands, McDonald's, Burger King, Starbucks, all came in 1960s, 70s. So now as India goes from 4 trillion to 7-8 trillion in the next 7-8 years, the brands will proliferate. So it is a big opportunity. So before that, the butter chicken shops or the North Indian dal shops would be more the neighborhood where a good entrepreneur will have 1 or 2 or 4 outlets. But they will not have the wherewithal to go to multiple cities or states or the whole country, the supply chains or the branding or the consistencies or the training methods. So that time in India is now at this stage where people are getting aspirational, where people have the disposable income, the people with more than $10,000 per capita income are rising. So as it rises, the brands and the companies who are able to take advantage will have brands in these categories which will become omnipresent.
No, congrats to really spot that opportunity and be the first one to drive that. Sid, welcome. And before you came in, we were sort of warming up because we were a bit early also. And, again, yours is a story where everyone, all youngsters buy clothes. And it's slightly different from theirs, but relatable because you have kids, I assume, within, say, 15 to 35, 40 years of age as your TG. And again, it's fascinating that India didn't build any brands for them in fashion. Why not, and how did you spot it?
I mean, first of all, apologies for being late. I mean, I mistimed. I thought there was only traffic in Bangalore.
We were a bit early to start this panel. So.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been in the apparel space for almost 10, 15 years. Started with a very small retail store, then got into trading, and then I was into white labeling, wherein I used to manufacture for all these traditional brands. And, sometime in 2019, discovered, that every brand was following a traditional pattern that was making collection season-wise. So either there was a summer collection or a winter collection. There was no brand focusing on fashion, especially for the youth, and bringing it more often. While brands like H&M and Zara were coming into India and disrupting the traditional model of business, asked myself, why aren't Indian brands doing it? The first thing that I understood was the supply chain was completely broken, so you'll have to sort of, be vertically integrated to deliver that. The second thing was the, largely traditional brands have been working in a very, very robust format, and for them to pivot, towards a new age sort of mentality was very, very difficult. That was the thesis behind starting Snitch. Again, spoke to a lot of youngsters in the age group of 23 to 25. I asked them, one simple question, where do you go and shop? I asked them, whether do you go to an Allen Solly or a Louis Philippe, to go and buy clothes? They said, no, that's my father's brand. And then I asked them, what is the sort of brands that you would wear? And they said, there's Zara, there's H&M, or there are a few, sort of labels on marketplace. So that was the obvious, large gap that was available. And that's when, we decided on focusing on men as a category, because all the brands, were focusing more on the women's space. We thought it was a great opportunity to build a very, very large brand in the men's space. Secondly, we said, let's keep the price point beyond a Zudio Max, but give the aspiration and product quality of a, Zara, H&M. And for consumers of Zara and H&M, let them, sort of discover their style, but at a, good, affordable fashion. So, I mean, that is where, the brand is currently, yeah.
And what does it stand for? Again, the same question. And how do you win consumers' hearts? When they go to Snitch, what do they really see and love?
So I think personally, I feel any brand, and especially, youngsters today, want to really resonate with the brand that they buy. Right? There might be a time when, people were resonating with brands which were existing, and that is why they were shopping with them, but they're no more relevant to today's audience. And that's the youth of India. I think number one thing is resonance. Number two is the USP that we carry, which is, freshness. Every single time, you go on the app, every single day, or you walk into the store, the experience is the same. There's freshness inside the store. The sort of the way we operate retail is very, very different from the way, traditional brands have been operating. Even if you walk into the store, all the stores would have the same sort of music, same sort of fragrance. The VM is going to be absolutely same, and it is just so beautiful that as soon as you walk into the store, you know, yeah, this is Snitch. So I think it is more about resonance, experience, and then the freshness that we carry.
And I'll come back to you on that because I think you've done something fascinating on omni-channel, both offline and online. KV, again, I mean, you say that, okay, mental health, 85% and so many people, etc. But every auntie, every elder sister or brother, every godman, if you like, every friend is kind of a coach to help solve your problems. And here, what gives you the right to win and get people to pay a premium for what you're offering?
No, and that's fair, Ashish. And I personally, for example, take a lot of solace in spirituality. So definitely, I think the problem is so huge, right? Anybody getting a peer support or a family support, it's welcome. Now, when we come to the business side of the things, how we win our customer, how we make people to pay for it, and I'll take one specific use case to elaborate a little bit on it because we work on multiple use cases. But this particular use case has really grown for us in the last 1 year. So we have launched a sub-brand called Sunshine by Lissun. This is for pediatric mental health. So just elaborating more on when your kid is not walking properly or not speaking properly, or for example, or on a higher side, they are on autism spectrum, ADHD, all these things are becoming very commonplace. Parents are understanding this. And this is one part of mental health, Ashish, where the physical symptoms comes quite early, right? For example, a person is depressed or having a mental health issue. The severity on the physical side comes when it's a pretty late thing. But in the neurodevelopmental delays for children, it comes a little early. What we did is that we found out when we looked at it, it's very similar. And previously, as you might be knowing, I worked with Flipkart and Uber. It was largely organizing a disorganized market. So today what happens that, they are an individual therapist with no standard care, running their mom and pop shows, shops, and distribute it. So imagine if your kid unfortunately is going through this issue, you have to go to 3 different places. No person is talking to each other and you are not sure what's the quality of that care. So very simple right to win for Sunshine by Lissun is that you will get a comprehensive, one-stop, good quality care. And again, the quality, right? How will you define the quality in this one, right? Interestingly, if you go, and you can try it, we are sitting in South Bombay, right? You pick 2 psychologists, right? Very top-notch. Go with your position, and there is a chance that they may administer 2 different tests to you. Because not that, standardized, like, you have a blood pressure, whether you are in here or New York, is the same way you do it. So we spend a lot of time, what are the right tests that we should be, assessing? What is the right structure? What is the right, nuance that needs to come out of it? Then we have speech therapist, occupational therapist, special educator, all under one roof. So you can prepare a comprehensive plan, provide, first of all, very simple win is that you don't have to go to 3 different people in a place like Bombay, Delhi, Gurgaon, wherever, right? Second thing is you have a standardization. And third, then the technology comes into the picture where we enable our parents as well as our therapist to ensure that quality is standardized, whether I have a center in Pune or in Lucknow or in Delhi. So this is how we are trying to win the market.
I think interesting, both of you spoke about standardization across, outlets. And I think the main takeaway for me is that even if it's a general service, a consumer-oriented service, you can productize it, brand it in a way that people will start using and you own that space almost, right? Monica, do you relate to that? I mean, because yours is also a consumer services play. Jay is also a product play, but how do you think about your consumer and how would you productize, and you're very early in the journey, how would you productize your offering for consumers to win?
Yeah, for me, the biggest thing that you can do for a consumer is to provide the value. Now, the consumer has to connect with what offerings you're giving to them. And nothing is better than that how you make a difference in their life. through Laiqa's AI platform, we are offering them personalized hormonal balancing services, wherein we offer them very personalized diet fitness plans which are synced to their menstrual cycles. Now, just through, I know and we are very early in the run, but through our beta users, the excitement they have shown to us through and how they're talking to their friends about what changes it made in their daily lives, in their physical, mental, emotional well-being. That is all that creates a huge satisfaction to us. And nothing like, as even Sid mentioned, it's all about customers' resonance. If a consumer can relate and be happy with the changes that they can see in their daily lives with what you are providing, nothing like it. So brands should always be focusing only on providing customer value. And if you can actually provide that on a scale, you build a moat and eventually things fall in place and profitability and other things fall in place.
Got it. Thank you. So I'm going to shift to certain trends that we see in the consumer space. And I think in no particular order, if it resonates with you, why don't you sort of talk? And I think let's start with omnichannel. And you've really done a fantastic job of rolling out offline so quickly after online, Sid. How did you manage? Because offline players have been struggling to go online, online struggles to go offline. And here you made that switch completely seamlessly. Can you walk us through how you managed that?
So I think for us, we were clear on going offline someday, but it was more about the timing. I think, again, offline just happened.
Almost about 15 crore or 200 crore company before you went offline, right?
Yeah, I think more than that. We were almost 250 crore plus
250 crores, yeah.
Before we went offline. But again, offline just happened, I was just passing by a street, saw a to-let board, and that was our, entry into offline. But what I could understand from offline space was magical because customers, we've opened the first store in Bangalore where there is no retail presence, absolutely no retail presence. Today if someone had, sort of shared me that location, I would have said, no, we're not going to do a store. It was just because we wanted to test the waters, the rental was really, really low. But the way, there was no celebrity call, there was no sort of large mega campaign that we did, but the sort of brand love and the pull that we could, achieve was just phenomenal. Within 15 days, we did 50 lakhs in net revenue. The next month, it won to a crore, and then, that store started hitting a crore plus every single month. And that was a clear signal that, now that, we've established ourselves as a brand, this is the right time to capture upon, the offline retail space as well. And that is when, we thought of doubling down. I think post-December, in the last almost 6 months, we've opened 23 stores. We're opening 2 more on this Monday. And there are almost 40 to 50 pipelined. And the reason why we're going aggressive offline, again, is one, customers want that. And, every single day we get lots of updates saying that, please open a store here, please open a store there. The second reason is your returns are absolutely zero, and that's the only place where customers could speak to a brand. Otherwise, it's largely very, very digital. Third, our average order value is almost 2.5x of what it is there online. So unit economics made great sense there. I think, yeah, so that, and plus we want to go omni, and you could utilize your offline stores like dark stores and start off with quick 60 to 90 minutes delivery as well.
So you're online, then offline, and now omni with your quick commerce and delivery.
Absolutely.
And you, did I hear you write 1 crore per store per month?
Yeah.
That's really fascinating. I think a lot of brands would really kill for that. Abhishek, you're doing quick commerce offline. So again, how do you really manage the omni-channel play here?
So Ashish, in our case, going offline is, is a core necessity of our vision to make Eggoz into a household brand. Now, quick commerce gives us availability to, say, top 4 to 5% of the pyramid. They are transacting on quick commerce because they value time and convenience. Now, how we are thinking about general trade is we've essentially in the past 1 year we've evolved our product portfolio into premium and an affordable range. So we know that when we come down the ladder, and we want to create, you can say, a step ladder for consumers to convert from unbranded eggs to branded and then eventually premium, fortified, etc. We need to give them an option first. We need to give them a step ladder first. Now for that, general trade, because it is also a priority for us, we created a product which has all the, it's called Eggoz Every Day, has all the promises of Eggoz, herbal feed, orange yolk, etc. And we launched it in GT with wholesalers. Currently we are in around 300 wholesalers, getting access to 3,000 stores, only limited to one city right now. And this has scaled up really fast. We've grown by roughly 6 times in the last 5 months. So, in a way, in our endeavor to organize this sector and convert the consumption from unbranded to branded, we'll have to play at different levels, be it price points, and also to reach those consumers at that level, we'll need the distribution to drive it.
Got it. So I think this brings a point on sort of premiumization, which is also a big trend in the consumer space. And do all of you relate to it? Vishal, are consumers paying a lot more for services? Are they willing to pay a lot more? Is that segment... and Vishal, you decided not to go for the low price point, lunch only kind of meal, right? I mean, you've aimed for a premium positioning from the start. So do you... is that a viable position now from India being purely cost and value focused?
So I think this journey in the brand, like again, when Airtel started, probably, the ARPU was 1,000. Today it went till 100. It's come back to 150. So we are a 300 crore brand. And we plan to be a 1,000 crore or 5,000 crore brand. So that journey, you'll have to look at every price segment. The brand will have to look. And so we can choose to create either another brand, which will be at a lower price point. But if we need to capture the biryani segment, kebab segment, so we have chosen to be the leaders in the Indian cuisine. So we are saying, let KFC take the fried chicken, or Domino's or Pizza take the pizza. But as far as the Indian food goes, be it biryani, kebabs, or North Indian cuisine with goila butter chicken, where we have the strengths, we'll have to play at multiple price points. Out of Domino's 5,500 crore sales, probably 1,500, 2,000 is from the personal pen pizza, which is close to 50. So we'll have to, so we have certain strategies both for offline and both for lower price point, which will play out in the next 1 or 2 years. Yeah.
Okay, one more big topic is growth versus profitability. How you manage it. And I don't think I need to bother about you, Sid, because you're profitable by a mile anyway, right? So, but again, I think it's important to also share your experience. How did you think about growth versus profitability?
So I think for me it was very, very clear. We were all bootstrapped till an ARR of almost 200 crore plus. And, I thought businesses meant profitability. So, I mean, I'm from the old school thoughts where business meant profitability and always chased profitability only. And I think, the perception really changes when you think of profitability, and, the way you start then thinking and the way, you start strategizing yourself is very, very different. And I'm sure most of the brands have now pivoted towards profitability, and that's when they've understood, what sort of strategies could work for them. We always believed in, growing organically, plus, at least taking care of the bottom line. And I think there was only 1 month when we went EBITDA negative of 10 lakhs, and I was furious that day. And touch wood, after that, we've always been profitable. And I'm a strong believer of, growth with profitability.
Growth and profitability, right? Abhishek, we've had these debates, and I think you have resisted the temptation of saying, I will go across 5 different cities at the same time. Tell us your path as to how you are building a profitable business.
So, Ashish, we are targeting a company break-even in the next 9 to 12 months. We are heavily chasing it, and to achieve it, we are not only chasing the required volume to cover for our, you can say, the bottom line expenses, given that at a unit level, market level, we already are profitable, have been profitable for some time. But we are also rethinking how the business model is at the back end, how supply chain can be improved, how supply chain costs can be reduced. So we are working on it, and but at the same time, we have also realized that we have certain number of playbooks for growth, especially on online and offline, where we know that if we are able to invest 1 rupee, then we can recover that 1 rupee in the next 3 to 4 months and very, very quickly. So when we have that kind of opportunities, and given that our business is very cyclical in nature, we like to capitalize on those opportunities, invest, grow to a certain point, retain that base with our high frequency consumption kind of product, and then, at the same time, focus on getting enough contribution margins for the bottom line.
Okay, I have one last set of questions to go. 2030, where will you all be and what would your respective companies look like? Maybe Monica, you can probably start with that.
Be a femtech leader in the global space for women's. Be a femtech leader in the global space for women's wellness.
KV?
Largest brand in child neurodevelopmental care, reaching out to literally millions of people through both our tech and physical platform.
And can you throw some numbers?
So that number, just to give you, 12% of the children are in the need of autistic.
What would you be? Not the market, but what would you be? What size would you be into that?
So easily would be around a 5,000 crore brand in that time.
Vishal?
Yeah, see, we are 300 crore now and 100 outlets. We'll be around 500 outlets and more than 2,000 crore. And we'll be in multiple countries. And the journey would still be starting at that time also.
So India for the world at scale, right?
Yeah.
Sid?
I mean, we're at ARR of 600 crore already, and we call this movement as Conquer India. I think by 2030 we would have conquered India, entered Middle East, probably established ourselves in the GCC as well. In terms of numbers, they really don't sort of fascinate me, but I think we should be IPO and hopefully very, very good position there.
So again, build India for the world. Build India for the world is one of your themes also, Monica. Abhishek, what are we looking at? Eggoz, yes. How big will it be?
So for us, in the next, by 2030, which is next for 5 to 6 years, so right now we have just crossed 120 crores in ARR sales, primarily from 2 cities. And now we are doubling down and just replicating that playbook in the next 10 cities, in the next metros, and also in the next 10 cities post that. So next 5 years, we do see that we have an opportunity to build a 1,400 to 1,500 crore brand, heavily profitable. We have recently launched our value-added products as well, like egg momos, nuggets, egg salamis, not only in retail, but also with our institutional partners as well. So we do believe that that mix can also be a large double-digit contributor to revenue and contribute to profits. And maybe potentially at that scale, these products can also be exported to other consumption countries, very, very nearby, maybe Middle East. So, but definitely our aspiration as founders, we aspire to IPO by then, because we certainly believe there's a lot of value creation and also a lot of room to grow post IPO. And with the help of public, we can also gather the required funds to grow further.
So I think one of the tricks to running companies is not to set very high expectation with investors. But I think you have all done that. But ladies and gentlemen, look out for all of them. I think they are going to be household brands in the next, already are and becoming household brands. And in our view, very big and successful companies, going forward. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for that amazing discussion.